Hello, and welcome to our video on the turns of the sword. My name is Brennan Fauché, and I am the longsword instructor at the Niagara School of Arms. Fiore is famously unhelpful about the turns of the sword. He gives us a detailed description of the turns of the foot, and then says the sword has the same turns and moves on with his book. So that has left a lot of room for speculation based on what an instructor thinks of each turn of the sword. So please keep in mind that this interpretation does not come from historic authenticity, but rather from experimentation and a desire for simplicity. So first up is the volta stabile, or the stable turn. We classify this as a turning of the sword where the point faces the opponent. I am displaying this with thrusts because this is the easiest way to visualize it. The concept here is to move your hands in a circle while keeping that point online and threatening your opponent. A good skill building drill here is to do this while moving the point as little as possible. This can provide a great workout for your arm and shoulder strength. All I'm doing is bringing my hands to one of four corners of a square, thrusting, then placing a step forward. This can be done with increasing or passing footwork. To prevent fatigue while doing this drill, make sure that you keep the grip loose. Don't overextend the elbows. Keep your back straight, bend those knees, keep that stance wide, point the front toe where you intend to go, and keep that knee in line with your toe. It should also be said that you should use this as an excellent opportunity to practice weapon before body. Make sure to bring your thrust to full extension and aim it into the center of the neck of an imaginary opponent. Then you will step in when you have the weapon fully extended. So next is the mezzavolta, or the middle turn. This is a turn of the sword where the point does not go past the shoulder. For classification purposes, we say the fendente cuts from Posta di Donna are mezzavolta just for consistency. Cuts can be done in any of the six directions with this turn of the sword. This also is an excellent drill for conditioning. You can use this opportunity to practice going back and forth on your volta stabile turn of the foot with the mezzavolta turn of the sword. You can also do these in place, and you can mix these up with your footwork. The strength of the mezzavolta is the speed it has over the tutta and the force that it can place over the volta stabile. This is a great turn to use for snapping cuts to the hands, but can also place a proper cut to the head or the body. You should be able to use this turn to go through most cutting targets. You should be doing these cuts by turning your hip and shoulder in with each cut. Don't let your forearm lapse during these conditioning exercises. Keep in mind that even though I demonstrated these half turns by passing the point through a target, you can do this into the center and place your point toward the target, then start a new cut. And you can also mix these up with your various footwork. So the last turn is the full turn or the tutta volta. This is defined as any turn where the sword moves past your shoulder. This is going to be most commonly done with moulinets. You can do these with the full motion of the arms, shoulder, and body, or you can make your tutta volta smaller by turning from the hands or the elbows. Both of these can be excellent ways to condition the body. To do these, all I am doing is dropping the point and then letting it fall past my shoulder, then placing the next cut that follows it. I'm stepping with these second cuts because I'm imagining the first as a parry or a beat and the second as the follow-through attack. And these can be done in all six directions. For fencing applications, these turns allow for more power and can present displacing parries with the same motion. These are the most powerful turns of the sword, but of course the slowest because the point has to move so far. I should also say that any of these turns of the sword can be used to start an attack from one direction and to follow it with a second attack from another direction. For example, you can thrust with a volta stabile, then use a tutta volta to place a cut after that. Having terminology for the turns of the sword is useful to us because it gives us language to discuss how and why we are moving the sword. It is a shame that Fiore did not describe these in detail. You should also find what other Fiorists say about the turns of the sword and what their interpretation is. Never take what a single instructor has to say as a gospel. An instructor that's asking you to never question them is asking for 100% of your trust 100% of the time. That in itself is a big problem. No one is beyond reproach, so even if you trust your instructor, you should question them. That's all I have for you today. Now get out there and train.